If you look at a map of Cochin, you might see a fractured jigsaw puzzle floating in the water. This is Kadamakudi. Locals say the name means forest of crabs. Honestly, it sounds like a magic spell from Harry Potter, but in reality, it's a maze of 14 tiny islands, held together by bridges, boats, and a whole lot of water. Right in the middle of this maze is where we are spending the next 48 hours. A private island villa that barely fits on the land it sits on. Getting here was an adventure. First, our flight decided to run on IST, Indian Stretchable Time. By the time we reached the water, it was pitch black. We hopped into a canoe and drifted into the dark. Navigating the water, hyacinths felt like playing a video game on hard mode with the screen turned off. It was a smooth ride with just the sound of the water slashing against the wood. We tried to capture it with just the natural twilight, chasing that moody, award winning aesthetic. But we weren't quite sure if the lighting was popping. So, our director of photography, which is basically just the two of us arguing, decided to bring in a tinge of extra light. Big mistake. Instead of a cinematic masterpiece, it instantly looked like a low budget Disney ghost movie. So, we smartly decided to kill the lights and let the darkness be. Then, the caretaker flipped a switch. Boom! The villa emerged from the darkness. The creepy vibe vanished, replaced by pure peace, worth every second of that blind paddling. We were starving. The caretaker brought us a fish meal from a roadside hotel. Nothing fancy, just honest, spicy food. As we ate, we realized this place was huge. It's built for a loud family of 8. Usually, if you bring a crowd, they arrange a home cook to serve proper home cooked feasts. But since it was just the two of us, we were left with our takeout. We could play hide and seek here and probably never find each other until checkout. But for tonight, the silence of the house and the spice of the curry were company enough. Morning arrived with appams and egg curry. Now, most people travel with a 2-page itinerary. 8 a.m. breakfast, 9 a.m. stress. Our itinerary had one rule: do absolutely nothing. We realized that staring at water is a legitimate activity. But we can't sit still for too long. We need some action. And since we have a special talent for scaring birds away, just by unzipping our camera bag, we needed a subject with zero fear: the crow. We launched Operation Oscar Crow. The plan: we placed the lunch leftovers on the wall. The goal: watch the crow, grab it and get that 60 frames per second slow motion shot that beats Nat Geo and the BBC combined. My son went undercover, sitting casually with the camera in his lap to capture the heist. But we underestimated the enemy. These guys weren't just birds. They were seasoned mobsters. They sat high up in the trees, completely hidden by the leaves, running a full surveillance operation on us. They knew exactly what that long green lens was. From their hideout, they probably identified the camera brand and even checked if my focal length was set correctly. They waited, they watched, and the second we blinked, swipe, food gone, we got completely outsmarted by the feathered mafia. Since we failed at domestic wildlife photography, we brought out the cheat code, the drone. From above, Kadamakudi is just a show off. You see those massive green patches floating by? That's water hyacinth. Ideally, it's an invasive weed, but from 400 feet up, it looks like a giant floating salad bar rolling out just for us. And since we were up there, we decided to try every YouTube trick in the book. You know the classics? We tried the Saturn Ring, circling the whole island to show off the isolation. We nailed the top-down shot. And of course, the hide and seek reveal, rising up from behind the trees for the dramatic entrance. We even flew it at night, and that is when you realize how alone you are. See those lights in the far distance? That's the city, that's the noise, that's where the pollution resides, where we keep monitors just to say, oops, we are doing it again with the environment, and then continue doing it anyway. Here, it's darker than a cinema hall, a tiny island of peace in a sea of silence. The next evening, we hit the photographer's jackpot, the golden hour. The light was so perfect, we decided to have a little competition. Contender 1, the flagship phone camera. Contender 2, the expensive mirrorless camera. Which one gives the better output? I'll leave it to you to judge. But honestly, when the sun paints the sky in these hues of orange and gold, it's hard to take a bad picture. It was our subtle attempt to claim we know a thing or two about photography. But the true winner? The drone. Just look at this frame. The sky isn't just blue, it's a gradient of burnt orange melting into twilight. The water stops moving and becomes a perfect mirror, doubling the silhouettes of the palms. The floating hyacinths turn into dark islands in a sea of coal. It is the kind of beauty poets write about. See, we can do that kind of poetic formal narration too, once in a while. Two nights, we did nothing but eat, sleep, and wonder at the beauty of this place. Batteries fully recharged, we checked out. The ride back was the same canoe, but a totally different vibe. The sun was out, the water was high, and the scary maze from night 1 turned into a scenic route. You know, National Geographic voted Kakaturuttu in Alleppey as the best place in the world for sunset. But let me tell you, Kadamakudi is a serious contender for that title. But here, you get it? Sans the pomp and show of resorts. Simple, beautiful, silent.